Which sports scream upper class? Maybe not upper class, but definitely the upper part of middle class. I'd argue. Other ones involving pools, like swimming, water polo, diving, and synchronized swimming, for example. Swim lessons growing up are needed, and at least in the city I live in, no public schools had pools, indoor or outdoor. I always wanted swimming lessons as a kid, but never got them. Being able to not drown was deemed good enough by my parents. Yacht racing. Even without paying for your own crew, maintaining a quality racing yacht can cost hundreds of thousands of dollars a year. Motorsport is also a major one. Many rich people like racing their cars, which of course can go into the millions easily. Equestrian sports and polo are both also expensive. Horses are expensive AF. Sports that require more athleticism translate to poorer participants. As the athleticism decreases and is replaced by expensive equipment, the sport becomes wealthy elite. Rich people want to be athletes and inevitably find ways to pretend like they are. Say hello to the Winter Olympics. Lacrosse is basically hockey for people who have enough money to avoid having to learn how to fight. Golf is an arcade leaderboard for rich people. Obviously any sport that requires owning a horse or boat, and less obviously any sport involving a gun. Figure skating, nude freestyle times. Boots $1,500. Blades $1,000. Club dues. Competition fees. $50 to get your blades sharpened. $500, $5,000 costumes. Soakers. Share guards. A proper skate carrier, and I can keep going. Less obvious ones. Paddle. Those are two different sports. The latter is played everywhere in Fairfield County. CT courts everywhere. They play in all kinds of weather and nearly at all times of the day and night. Auto racing, aside from autocross or the occasional track day, running a car in an amateur series like Spec Miata can cost over $1,000 a weekend, and that doesn't include $50,000 for a competitive car, parts, tires, etc. I really enjoy fencing at school. My beau was an avid rower. Despite many attempts to get working class kids to take part, I just wanted to sit in the house, smoke weed and play computer games. Travel baseball. We did this for a few years when our son was 11, 14 and it was crazy. You'd think bat, ball, glove, done. But tournaments, coaches, hotels, the latest gear. It escalated quickly. Rugby union is strongly associated with private schools in England, but it's a very working class sport in Wales. South Africa is a whole other story as well. The biggest one IMO is golf, not because it's inherently inaccessible, but because it is artificially made so, with absurd policies on attire and absurd costs. I guess you peasants don't get down to Miami enough for higher life. The people playing it may not be wealthy, but those betting on it are very upper class. Lacrosse, dressage, bandy, squash, golf, tennis, fencing, cross-country skiing, yachting, curling. This is applicable to my area. Hockey has been for the past 30 years. Sad because there's a lot of talent that isn't going to ever get a chance. Don't get fencing being proposed here. I trained it for years as a kid and my family was anything but rich. Polo, with its elite clubs and high-end tournaments, definitely has an air of upper-class exclusivity. Formula 1. Not a single one of those drivers would win races if everyone could afford to get into F1. Water polo. Any sport that needs both a 500k gallon pool and specialized equipment is upper class. Golf and cricket. It's cricket or cricket, but you know what I want to say, and golf is obvious. That posh one where the rider makes the horse do tricks. I think it's called dressage. Ice hockey is a more subtle one compared to polo, equestrian, golf, etc. Rugby union. At least in my country anyway, us pubs play rugby league. Cycling in general. A top mountain bike or road bike can cost $15,000. I once met someone who loved competitive horse carriage racing. Every triathlete I know comes from a fairly wealthy family. Based on championship ticket prices, Then NFL, I guess. Rugger as opposed to rugby, specifically rugby league.